My name is John Eldridge, and I am the regional superintendent of a school system and have been in this position for 2 years. So the No Child Left Behind piece, the annual yearly progress, I think one of the things you and I talked about off camera was the impact that No Child Left Behind has had both on the plus side and possibly the negative side. I think what AYP, which is a portion of the No Child Left Behind, has done for us is kind of lifted up subgroups of students that we really weren't paying attention to as closely as we needed to when we were just testing everyone and just looking at the data as a whole, as opposed to what is the outcomes or the impacts that our educational process is having on each individual kid by subgroup. And so that to me has been a very big positive, because before all we were just looking at was a whole number as opposed to how's it impacting all the students. The downside to it has been that you take a school that's got 27 subgroups of students, and one subgroup doesn't meet the goal, then the school is labeled as a failing school, and then the community has to deal with that. And the whole one fail all fail model, I think, has been really kind of a stigma. I think another thing that it's done too, while we have been paying attention to more of our subgroups and trying to meet their needs, we're trying to bring it to the middle. All we're trying to do is get kids to be proficient, and because of that we've really kind of brought the upper kids down to the middle and the kids that are struggling to the middle, and it's really kind of leveled out our educational process as opposed to moving everybody up at the same time. So it's been really incumbent upon school systems and teachers and administrators to work together to figure out a way to meet all the subgroup needs, but at the same time move everybody. And so that's really, I think, where people have kind of moved and graduated in our mindset about how to maneuver through No Child Left Behind. So I think like I said, there's been some good and some bad to come out of it. I think it's really been more on the educational system, the parents, the students, the teachers, the administrators to come together and figure out how we're going to deal with this whole thing of educating students, because just to blame No Child Left Behind for the reason why we've chosen to go that route. If we're going to level things out and just try and get kids to level 3, then that was our choice. You can still meet the needs of everybody if you better utilize your resources and listen to the voice of everybody that's involved, instead of us as educators deciding what we think is best for our students. So we've gotten better in this school system at trying to move everybody in the last couple of years, as opposed to just getting you to a level 3, which is what we consider proficient in our area. So I just really think we need to all get our heads together and really talk charter schools, private schools, homeschoolers, whatever. What can we do with all of our resources to meet the needs of all our kids that live here? Because right now we're fractioned, we're working against each other. The state's going to let this school system do what it wants to do, while this school system over here is doing a completely different thing. I just really feel like we're being divided and conquered by people that don't believe in public education right now. We're falling right into the trap. So if we don't get our minds together and collectively do what we think is best for kids, and then agree upon the method to do that, who knows what public education is going to look like 5-10 years from now, because I just feel like we're falling into a major trap. If we don't find a way to plug our kids into the 21st century inside our schools, they're going to continue to be bored out of their minds. They're going to continue to get in trouble. There's going to continue to be barriers set up for what we can and we can't do. If we can figure out what it really means in public education to be 21st century schools and use our resources to set those things up so kids are busting the doors down to come in as opposed to trying to get out, I think that's really where we're going to capture this thing, because these charter schools and private schools can get the funding they need and open up shops that kids are flocking to. And if we don't, instead of us thinking about ways to work against them, find out to be more ways to be more like them, so that when kids come to the school that you work at, if they had laptop computers and they could pull their cell phones out, and we were writing lessons that engaged those kinds of things as opposed to put up barriers to keep them out, I think kids would be a whole lot more excited about coming to our schools, and it'd be less for them to fight against.